When I say the word gentle, what comes to mind? What words do you think of, or images do you see? A fluffy pillow, or maybe a person who agrees with whatever you say 300 times a day. They're just so gentle. Maybe holding a baby, or maybe what's happening when somebody's not responding, or when you see those images that are tender and they're comforting, is that you're reading a wrong definition of gentleness. See, we live in a culture that says, don't be loud, don't be bold. And when it comes to men, if you're not going to be gentle, which is basically be silent, that's not gentleness. That's cowardice and irrelevance. We're told constantly to tone it down. Even when you look in the dictionary, Cambridge Dictionary, the definition of gentle is not strength. But I want to propose to you that maybe we've been looking at reading the wrong definition, and we've missed the fact that the true gentleman is the strength that we're lacking and that we so desperately need. Today, what we're talking about is the true gentleman. We're talking about what gentleness is. Think about when you were a kid. Do you remember when you got hurt as a kid? Fall down, scrape your knees, hands are all scuffed up, whatever it is. Next thing you know, mom, boom, she's there. Neosporin, Scooby-Doo Band-Aid. What does dad do? He's still sitting in the living room, reading the paper, doing whatever, dad dinking around in the garage. Are you bleeding? Like he yells from the other room. So who was right? Well, both of them are trying to do something different. Is one gentle and one not gentle? It depends on your definition of gentleness. Because one's trying to bring comfort, the other one's trying to develop character. Is one wrong? I don't think so. Two of the strongest men who ever lived are two of the most gentle men who ever lived. What we need today is true, gentle men. But what we've done is we've taken what's holy, what gentleness really is, and we've made it hollow by gutting it of all of its meaning and then just telling you what it's not. It's not strength. And then what happens to men is we talk about we're trying to get rid of toxic masculinity, but what we're really trying to do is erase masculinity. And what we want is for you to sit in the corner, obey, don't do anything that rocks the boat, and be silent. But is silence really gentleness? If you go back and you start looking at what we've done to define gentleness, here's what's happened in our culture. I'm going to give you 5 things that are false views of gentleness. The first one is we choose niceness over truth. We avoid conflict, and then we call it kindness. We choose silence over strength, just agree, blend in, conform. That's really the key. We call it cancel culture, but it's really a conformity culture. If you're familiar with the Bible, you know the Bible clearly states, don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Well, they're trying to erase that thought process from your mind. It's choosing tolerance over conviction. Say nothing, stand for nothing. We'll tell you what the trend is, and like Target, you can pretend like it's a conviction. Until the trend changes, you can go with the opposite conviction. That's not a conviction, by the way. It chooses softness over steadfastness. It wants approval over accountability. As long as you like me, as long as nobody's upset, but we can all be upset at the right people as long as we all agree who the person is that we're all going to be upset with. And if you're not upset with them, then there's something wrong with you. You can't call sin sin, because that's harsh, that's hate speech. These aren't virtues. These are disguises for cowardice. This isn't the world's remedy for toxic masculinity. This is the formula to erase masculinity. What we need are true gentlemen. What is gentle? Well, I told you the 2 strongest men in the world defined and called, one of them even called himself gentle. His name was Jesus, the strongest man who ever lived, the only holistic human, and he was also God. Had the power with the word of his mouth to start everything over, to flood, to destroy, for wrath. It says, are you weary and burdened? Come to me. Gentle, humble, lowly, heart. I'll give you rest for your soul. Overturns tables, but he is gentle. And so if you go, well, yeah, but that wasn't gentle. Oh, wait. Gentleness is who he is. And if you look at the Bible and you see, as a man, what's supposed to happen in my life? Well, there's these characteristics that are mentioned in the book of Galatians. Galatians chapter 5, verse 22 and 23. Calls them the fruit of the Spirit. It's singular, the fruit, and then there's these 9 characteristics. Are they 9 facets of the first characteristic, love, or are they 9 individual characteristics? That's the only debate about the passage, but each one is what it looks like when our lives overflow with Christ-like character. From the time that we spend hanging out with Jesus, we become more like him, and then these things start to become more evident in our lives. Like when you hang out with somebody who has an accent, you start to talk like him. Or you hang out in a place that has a certain fragrance and you start to smell like that place. And that's what it's like. And so the more connected we are to the vine, Jesus, this is the fruit that we bear by the Spirit. It's the fruit of the Holy Spirit working in our lives. And one of the fruits of the Spirit is gentleness. And do you know what the application of that gentleness is in that very passage? Galatians chapter 5, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness. And then in chapter 6, verse 1, if you find somebody in sin, confront them, but be gentle. So it's confronting, it's taking a stand, the opposite of choosing approval over accountability. The opposite of choosing conformity over conviction. The opposite of all the false definitions of gentleness that we see in the Bible. And the God-man, he was gentle, but he overturned tables, but he is gentle. So what is this gentleness? We'll talk about that in the next video. But what we're looking for is true gentlemen to change the world. If you like this information, this content, it's helpful to you in some way, would you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, maybe that bell notification so you don't miss anything that we send out. And if you know some guys that might need to hear this, hit that share button, send it to them today, and just say, what do you think? And start a conversation. And if you would feel so compelled, put that conversation in the comments. I'd love to be a part of it. I'll engage, I promise, if you start to engage in the comments. Until next time, thanks for checking this out. We'll see you, man.